So Physics Error Thursday is here, and today I've got for you not knowing your formula sheet and not being able to use it. And doesn't just mean being able to use it in calculations. Most physics students I teach are pretty strong in using their formula for calculations, but sometimes they make an unforgivable error of not actually knowing when and how to apply those formula. So most syllabus now, they actually don't expect you to remember the formula. A lot of people remember doing physics at GCSE themselves and not being given a list of formula. But at the front of exams now, or sometimes at the back, know where they are in your syllabus, there is a list of formula, and actually that pretty much is the syllabus. And even most questions which are explain questions rather than calculate questions are actually referring to some ideas that are expressed in the formula. So if it's asking you to explain how this thing changes with that thing, this variable changes with that variable, then a formula is going to actually tell you that. So if one thing goes up, the other thing goes down, well, that will be expressed in a formula which shows inverse proportionality, for example. A lot of set explanations, for example, crumple zones, are actually based around a formula. So if in crumple zones you quote the formula, force is a change in momentum divided by time, there it is, then you are actually going to get most of the marks. If you say a force is a change in momentum divided by time, a rate of change of momentum in other words, and you say that a crumple zone increases collision time and therefore it's got a low force, well, that's all 3 marks, perfect answer. Okay, so actually use the formula to explain things. So it's all very well knowing that you're given this formula here, but if you don't know that V is voltage across the primary, I is current across the primary, V secondary, voltage on the secondary, I is current across the secondary, then that's a worthless and useless piece of algebra. If you don't know that this corresponds to currents adding up in a transistor, then that's worthless, isn't it? If you don't know that what all of these mean, then you can't use that to solve a conservation of momentum question. If you don't know what the letters in the equation of linear motion mean, then that is useless. Similarly here, if you don't know that these first 4 are for unit 1 and these next 2 are for unit 2 and all of these are for the mechanics part, unit 3, then that's unit 4, then that's unit 5 up to there, then that's unit 6 just there. Then this formula sheet is less helpful to you. So make sure you do know and you're familiar with your formula sheet. And this is the case at A level as well. And a lot of people are thinking that explain doesn't mean apply some formula. Explain can often mean, well, actually, if I use this formula, I show there's a proportional change in this variable with that variable. Also at A level, especially at A2, you get to the point where there's a lot of formula that are quite complicated, in fact. For example, Wien's law or the Stefan-Boltzmann law. Then you're actually getting a lot of things which are quite a complex formula, and they're power laws as well. So that's a very interesting set of maths that you need to apply to that. And actually there's things in there that capital T, for example, is used again, and capital T was used in SHM to be time period, and here it doesn't mean time period, it means absolute temperature. So you've got to be absolutely clear on what every single letter in your formula sheet means and when and where to use that formula, when and where to refer to that formula, even if it's a written explanation type question. Okay, I hope that helps. I know you're studying hard, so get on with it and don't make those physics errors. So here's a whole lot of data that you're given in A level, which is pretty useless to you unless you know when to be applying it. And it's pretty important to know your way around the different units and when these are going to come up and when you're going to use them. The unit 1 stuff in this syllabus can be used throughout. But again, if you don't know what eta means, then it's a pretty useless thing. You will not be able to apply Stokes' law. Similarly over here, if you don't know what I and R mean, or that this is the refractive index from one medium to another medium, then it's useless. If you don't know that this is an expression of Kirchhoff's laws with combining resistors, if you don't understand that h in this case is Planck's constant, or phi in this case is the work function. Similar down here, if you don't know what omega means, that omega is the angular speed, angular velocity, so how many radians per second something does. If you don't know that k is just, in that case, it is just the constant k here given to you, then that is worthless, isn't it? If you don't know that, how to use your exponentials, and in actual fact, this means that also, therefore, you can replace q with v or q with I, then you're not going to be able to solve the capacitor discharge questions. If you don't know, lambda means de Broglie wavelength here, and again, h is Planck's constant. In this case, phi doesn't mean work function. In this case, phi means flux. If you don't know that p here, little p, is pressure and not momentum, it's going to be worthless. This is absolute temperature. But over here in SHM, this is time period, then you're not going to do very well, unfortunately. Here again, it's absolute temperature again. Here, L is not length, it's luminosity at a point. A is surface area here, rather than amplitude up here. Then you're going to struggle. You can do this. H0, if you don't know that H0 is Hubble's constant and has inverse time units, then unfortunately, you're going to struggle.
Thank you for watching Gorilla Physics. Please do like, share and subscribe. That really helps me be more useful to more people. Also, please go ahead and check out Gorilla Chemistry and Gorilla Biology. You can expect the same sorts of things, past paper questions and videos to help you understand topics. Thanks once again for watching.